Hey, welcome to the Small Business Social Podcast.
So, we are the podcast where we celebrate makers, dreamers, and doers by building big things in their communities. I'm Kara Varikis,
And I'm Steve Seymour.
and we're here to shine a light on small business owners and experts who inspire us all. So, this episode is brought to you by Seymour Media, helping small businesses thrive with commercial photography and video, and the Bristol Bazaar, your go to spot for the perfect gift. So, today we have decided that we want to talk about burnout. It is a very real thing as a small business owner. And this is the first episode that we're doing, just the two of us, other than our intro episode. So I'm actually really excited.
I wonder why we got that subject going on, considering we both have bags underneath. Oh, not I do mostly, but
I do too. It's hard. And I could tell you that my vision from when I left corporate America and now owning two small businesses, it is so different from what I expected, because I know we were talking about this before we went on air, but when I left, my dream was to be this Beachbody coach, and I was watching all these girls being influencers, and they recorded every moment of every day, and
it's
they
exhausting.
It was so much. So I tried, and let me tell you that on top of launching a small business was almost impossible.
Yeah, they even say influencers are working full time. It's not as easy as it looks because they have to edit, do the video, edit the video, blah, 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 blast it out,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's exhausting. And I didn't realize truly, I guess there's corporate burnout, you could say, and then there's small business burnout. Both feel a little similar. I don't know if,
What do you think is bigger? I mean, worse on you yourself? Big business or small business?
I think big.
You think big, really?
I think big. I went through a lot of anxiety and toxicity at the places that I was at beforehand. I mean, multiple places, not just one. And it was really unhealthy.
Is it because of the people you were working with that's causing it, or the work you were given, or what?
A lot of the places I was at, I loved the work. I loved my job. I loved most of the team that I was working with, but sometimes it's how certain situations were handled or not handled, conversations that were had or not had, that type of thing. And it was really a lot in how people communicated or tried to communicate when maybe they weren't the best people to be having that conversation. But yeah, I would say like the stresses of being a small business owner are totally different from the stresses of working in big corporate America, if you want to say that, because you're in control as a small business owner, right?
But I personally, I think small business is harder on me anyways. The reason why I'm saying that is because all the work you have to put into it, whether it's ideas and just starting up, who do I talk to? How do I get started? And then you're marketing yourself because you can't afford to hire anyone yet. That's what I think. I mean, there's times where I wish I just had a regular job where I know when I'm leaving, when I'm coming home, how much I'm making a week.
Right.
Right.
Having that like set time where you clock in, you clock out, and you know what you're getting paid no matter what, essentially.
But then owning your own business, you're like, wow, I can't do that and get paid that for this. You know what I mean? So it works both ways.
Yeah. I mean, there were definitely times when we launched Dusty Dude that we questioned a lot of things. We questioned, how much we were posting on social media, what types of content people wanted to see. I mean, we were filming and recording as much as we possibly could, probably kind of like if I were a Beachbody person.
Right.
And just kind of doing what we could to see what stuck. But like the burnout came for us, at least for working those long hours. We would wake up together probably, I don't even know.
What time do you get up in the morning? Early, right?
Now probably like 6:30. Used to be earlier when things weren't as like hustly and bustly as they are now with both businesses. I used to be able to wake up at like 5:30, but now it's definitely delayed a little bit.
Meanwhile, your animals are starving.
Yeah. But we go to bed by like 9:30.
Yeah, I'm the same way. But I still work in bed though. That's my problem.
Oh.
That's my problem.
That's hard.
And that's what we should talk about today also.
Yes, we should. Having the boundaries, I think, is really important, but also really hard as a small business person. Like I just took my phone, which is usually right by my side or in my pocket, and I put it out in the other room. But I don't know. So like, tell me about some things that you've gone through with burnout with small business. I mean, I'm sure we could share stories all night, but I think a few would be really helpful because we're in two very different business worlds.
Right. Yeah, we are. I would say my burnout, it was the beginning, obviously. And well, one of my businesses is photography. Everyone owns a camera these days, so automatically they're a professional. You know what I mean? So there's so much competition out there that you have to work twice as hard, and you feel that you have to. But you try to undercut everybody, and then you realize down the road, damn, I can't undercut everybody. Now they're gonna expect to pay this amount, and I'm doing double the work, and you don't realize your own self-worth. So I'm at the point now, basically, I can turn down jobs, and I could say, hey, if you don't want to pay this, then this is what I cost. And they know that up front before we get into the specifics. I won't carry a conversation any further unless they know what they're getting into. Like, I'll put my pricing on my one of my websites. This way they don't even call me if they don't know the prices, stuff like that. But yeah, I get really burned out. And what I do now, and no one told me this, but I was working 7 days a week. Now I still kind of work 7 days, but I have the option not to. With my other business, I said, screw it. I'm taking weekends off no matter what.
Yeah.
I took a little dip in pay, but now it's back up. I have a lot more free time. And if you can delegate certain things, like instead of editing photos, I could send it overseas, have that done. Fine, I'm paying them, but I'm also getting back 15 hours.
Right.
What I do with that 15 hours is up to me. I can go out and get more business or take more free time for my family or split it up. You know what I mean? So I don't know how you deal with your...
I feel like I can relate with the Dusty Dude side for what you're talking about in terms of trying to undercut and looking at numbers and what to do. We're at a place now with Dusty Dude where we have a shop minimum. It's $1,200. If you want a cutting board, it's $1,200 minimum.
Right.
Because those smaller jobs, they're great and they're wonderful, and that's how we got to where we are. But Eric's time is also very valuable, like yours, and he's only, again, one person, just like you.
Right.
And so where he's dividing his time, whether it's between the bazaar or the shop, or he's with our fur babies at home or with his family, whatever it is, he can make that choice.
Right.
And we've busted our butts for however many years now, 6-7 years, to be able to have that as a choice.
Well, the thing is also, too, with him and me, he's a craftsman. No one can just come in and help him out. I mean, they can sweep the floor and stuff, but you can't say, hey, do this cut for me or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm sure you can, but because I'm sure you were trained on the job training. But there's things that, I can't just send someone out and say, photograph this or do that. I've trained people. I've hired people. Those people have left me and try to undercut me. And now they are no longer in business.
Yeah.
Because they tried to do what I started doing in the beginning. And then you realize,
Yeah, that's a very real thing in all types of different businesses, where people see, what you're doing and they want to do it the same as you or better or in their own avenue.
Right.
And that definitely adds to stress. I would say, you're always looking to see what your competitors are doing, and you're always looking for for different ways that you can be better. I mean, maybe it's just for yourself or for the customers you serve, but it's exhausting.
Yeah,
And
it's mentally exhausting,
Yeah.
especially when you're trying to creep up on your competitors and trying to be like the Joneses. You have
Right.
to do you first and
Yes.
concentrate and perfect your craft.
Right.
That's the way I see it. Now I do, but
So how would you explain, like, when you're hitting that burnout time, like, how would you explain that feels for you?
well, when this is what I make a subconscious, a conscious decision. Let's say because I work 15-hour days. That's a given. Okay. So what I'll do is I will have my dinner certain time, have to, and I don't answer the phone, don't do anything, watch my TV show. Every half an hour to an hour, I'll take a little break. I don't know what it is. I can watch 15 minutes of TV, anything,
Yeah.
I would suggest, honestly, working a few hours, take a walk around the block, get some fresh air, stretch your legs a little bit, because when you keep working and working and working, You're mentally not as sharp as you were when you first started working for the day.
Yeah.
Because all you're thinking about is how tired you are, but I have to get this done. But that problem is always going to be there.
Right.
How you set yourself up for that problem is going to be whether you get burnt out or not. So if you tell your customer, say, I can do this for you in 4 hours. Don't tell them 4 hours. Tell them 6 hours.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't stretch yourself thin. Basically, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's tremendous. And I think that's something for a small business owner that's really hard to have those conversations.
It's very hard.
Because you want to be the fastest, the best, the most complete, in terms of what you're giving back to them, whatever that might be. And on my end, with the two businesses too, like it's, how do I explain it? When you're working the long days, you're up at say 6:30 and you end your day at 8:45 at night by the time you get home. Like whatever that looks like.
Right.
Like you're just on.
Yeah.
You're on. And it's whether it's a customer's coming in the door at the Bristol Bazaar, like I will always greet someone with a smile if I'm exhausted with bags under my eyes. And I will always do the best that I possibly can. But when I hit burnout, it's, working, I don't even know, however many consecutive days without really taking a break other than when you're sleeping at night.
Right.
And like you mentioned, I get that brain fog and I kind of shut down.
Yeah, and you start making stupid mistakes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I make that all the time. I do
and
that
those
all
cost
the
you
time.
more in the end than if you just took the time.
Exactly. Then you should have just taken that walk. You should have
Right.
got something to eat. Just
Anything.
decompress, wash your face, go take a shower. You know what I mean? Anything just to break up the monotony of, keep
Yes.
going,
And I think what you mentioned too about delegating is tremendous. When we
Huge.
first opened the bazaar, it was Eric and I, and
Right.
we were open 6 days a week. I think it's 65 hours. So we would work the register for 65 hours plus, everything else that goes in on the back end.
Right.
And it was wonderful and it was great. And I wouldn't take back any of that. It was exhausting though. And we lost our creative kind of juju,
Right.
if you want to call it
yeah,
that.
now it's just business. I have to make
Yeah.
up for all this time that we took building this business. We have to recoup that money and
Right.
time. So
Right. And so now we've gotten to a point where we actually just hired our second part-time staffer, which is really exciting for us. And so now we'll have someone who's going to open the store and someone else who closes the store. And that gives Eric and I creative time.
that's exactly. So you can
And-
expand your business.
Yeah. And that is something, we've been doing, and we've been adjusting our schedules between both businesses all the time. And we finally found a groove that works. And now we're able to bring on another person, but being able to delegate those things to be like, okay, now my brain can really not have to worry about doing
Right.
X, Y, and Z when I open the store. I can wake up in the morning and I can schedule my day. I do a lot of time blocking. And I can be like, okay, so today I'm going to spend 1 hour prepping for the podcast, another
yeah.
2 hours working on holiday planning for the Bristol Bazaar, and then another hour dedicated just to Dusty Dude. And
Right.
I don't know when I've ever had that before.
Yeah, you have to basically block out your time. This way you know when things are going to be done. And because there's times I'll get stuck on a project and I'm like, damn, I should be finishing this, or I could have finished this in 5 minutes and
Right.
come back to this project. But you have to prioritize and take that break mentally and physically,
Yeah, I mean, burnout is very real. I think it's definitely a mindset. I think that it's something that's really hard for small business owners to cope with because it can feel like so many things. It can feel like exhaustion, frustration, you're angry, you don't really know what to do next because you're so tired, or, whatever that is for each individual person is it's so unique. And I think how everyone deals with it is very different, whether it is taking a walk outside, or for me, like I've prioritized my personal health and going to the gym again.
Yeah, that must feel
It's tremendous.
good afterward.
Oh my gosh, I get home and
I'm sure
brain's
you're
like,
hating life going to it. But when you get out and you take that shower, you're like,
and my brain is like a little firecracker.
Right.
And so after I've really focused for 45 minutes just on myself and, doing the work that my trainer is telling me to do, I go home and I will tell this to any business owner, and you're going to laugh at me. You will probably laugh at me.
should I start now? Or?
So Eric and I had a shower notepad.
Where's this going?
So you just stick it to the wall. You can get it on Amazon. And if your brain is like a creative mind
Yeah.
and you're just, on the fly and you're in the shower and you're just thinking about things, there's a pencil and a piece of paper and
Really?
it's waterproof. And so you can start to write your ideas down. And I think it's
No,
just
it's
like
genius,
a
but
creative,
hilarious.
It's
And
so strange.
only you would think of something like that. You know what I mean?
But it's like that, or having like Eric and I, when we go to the dog park, we would start to record our conversations because we would just
Oh, that's a
start,
good idea. Yeah.
and then we would be like, wait, what did we even talk about? You know, we had so many good ideas, and so we started recording. No matter what we talked about, it could have been we talked about the moon and ice cream,
Right,
but it could
exactly.
have been that we talked about something that was a really great business idea. So for anyone listening, shower notebook, Amazon. And record conversations if you're brainstorming
Or yeah,
a voice
any
memo,
idea or anything like
anything.
that. Yep, just voice memo it.
Yes.
There was I'm gonna look it up in a second. Just it's a software program. It's just like that, and I will give it to you by the end of the show. So basically, you would just put, let's say, your phone in the middle of the table, or a microphone would be better, and it records everyone's voice. You would say your name first, so everybody, and it recognizes who's saying what, and then it builds down. I love AI. Basically, it'll say Carolyn said this at this time, and it breaks down all the little bullet points in there for you.
Wow.
So, and then if you go, let's say we're talking for 2 hours, right? And you're like, damn, what happened? Like, when did Carolyn say this? So you just put in keywords, and it would come up with the time, exactly what you said, when you said it, what they, it's all, I'll show it to you. You're going
That's
to
really
freak
cool.
out. Yeah,
That's
it's pretty
really
good.
cool. And something else I was thinking about too is because I have, Eric as my business partner and my life partner. Do you find, so like him and I we always go back and forth in terms of ideas and stuff, but I also feel like I can go to him and be like, hey, I'm hitting a wall. Like I'm really struggling, or he'll come to me and be like, hey, I'm slammed in the shop. Like I really need some flexibility. What can we do? Do you feel like you can go to anybody to say, hey, I'm really struggling. Can you help me brainstorm? Or do you just kind of find that you work on it yourself as a solopreneur?
That's a tough one. It all depends on what it is. Okay. Because like when I'm filming something, there's certain things that I'm like, all right, I can send this to my daughter. She can do it. Or my wife can do this part for me. Yeah. You need the support system, no matter if it's your family members, your kids. If they're old enough, give them an assignment. Pay them a few dollars. Let them know what the business looks like. You know what I mean? If you need a support system, if you don't have it, it's going to be much harder on you, whether it's, friends, like you're helping me, I help you. You're like, Steve, I got to do this. I'm like, I got it. Or I'll say, damn, I don't know how to do this. 5 minutes later, you have everything lined up for me and everything. So I'm like, I didn't even get half the sentence out, and she's already came up with the whole plan already. I'm like, okay, we're good to go, I guess. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, I've noticed that about you. It seems like when you're given a task, you take care of it right away, just so you have it off your plate.
Yes.
And am I correct on that, saying that?
Yeah. I have a very long to-do list that's sorted by each different thing that I'm responsible for in my day. It lives in Excel, but I focus on that. And if there's something that takes me less than 10 minutes, then
You'll
it
knock
goes to
that
the
out
top
really
of my
quick.
priority list.
Yeah, that's the way I am too.
Yeah, because I can become very forgetful with juggling so many different things.
Yep.
And I don't want to drop the ball.
Right. On
That's
something
all.
stupid that could
Right.
take you 10 minutes. All right.
Right.
So that's another tip for you. If you have a big list of things, stuff that you can knock out really quick, knock them out, get them off your plate.
Yes. You'll spend
Unless
more
it's
time.
super important, the big thing. But if it's something that's going to take you literally 10 minutes, just do it. Take your walk, come back, start back on that big project. That's what I would say.
Yeah, it'll take you more time just to sit there and think about how you would do the work that you either are avoiding or that you don't know how to
Right,
do,
exactly.
than just to go. If it's something you don't know how to do, then YouTube it or ask a resource,
Yeah.
whatever. it might
YouTube
be.
University is your
Yes.
best friend.
And it will be so fast, and that will help you prevent burnout. Is from doing those types of things. That's what I've realized for myself. Is again, I'm a very task-driven person. Even if it's something I'm going to do at home, I'm like, okay, clean the bathroom,
Right.
take it off the list, because if I don't write it down, it never gets done.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Yep, I'm the same way. You need a task, a list, something. You know what I mean, and make sure you do have to take those breaks.
Yeah, I don't know. The more I think about burnout and the things that small business owners go through, I have a lot of experience in the maker world now. And that's a lot of folks juggling full-time corporate jobs with their side hustles. So that's like two very different types of burnout that you could be feeling at the same time
Oh, yeah.
too, which I
Yeah.
didn't really think about until just right this second. And I guess you could say like that's kind of what I was starting to feel when I left corporate, was because I was working corporate at a place that was just not the right fit for me. My mental health was not really great at that time. And then, Eric told me that he needed me to come in, or we were going to hire someone to do this big cutting board
And you were
order.
probably like, "Are you serious?"
And I was like, okay. And, so it kind of shifted, like literally it dropped so much from, from one, type of emotion of burnout to this like elevated excitement, but fear of burnout, because I knew what it was about to happen.
Right.
And what we estimated happened. Like we worked 18-hour days, like whatever it was, to get these cutting boards done on top of our regular workload. And we both lived burnout together for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, something like that.
Yeah, you don't even know. That's
No.
how much. Yeah.
And that you just think that that's okay and that that's life and that's the contract you signed for your client. And, there's no flexibility in that. But it's just burnout can be so, I don't even know how to, like, terrifying.
Right.
It's, you kind of feel alone sometimes and
A lot of time.
Yeah.
And
you're like, I don't know what I'm
because you're in a
doing.
zone and you're usually typing away, looking at a screen all day, and
Right.
yeah, it's just yeah.
Have you ever found that it's made you angry? Like resentful?
I'd say twice a day. Honestly, like I said, there's times where I'm like, "What am I doing? Why can't I just go to a regular job, collect a paycheck, knowing I'm coming home, and that's it?"
Yeah.
But then again, when you're reaping from the benefits that something that you built yourself and you're your own boss, it's scary at first, but once you become an established business and you can make a living off of it, then you can relax just a little bit. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. I think a good way to kind of wrap the conversation might be to come up with, I know we've kind of brainstormed quickly here, just a couple of ways that we could recommend for people to do to prevent the burnout as a small business owner. Maybe we can hash through a couple more just for everyone if they want to write them down. For me, like time blocking is essential. So if you have never time blocked before, I would highly recommend just giving it a try. It's a different way to organize your time and kind of
It's much
reward
better.
yourself.
Yep.
So if you give yourself an hour to work on a task and you're done in 30 minutes, then you just gave yourself 30 minutes to watch your favorite show, go outside, do whatever you got to do.
that's when you take your break. Right. Exactly.
So that for me has been tremendous. And again, focusing on my physical health has been great. And I've also started to read again. So I made that a priority to read one chapter of a book every day.
I can't remember the last time I think green eggs and ham was my honestly, I really no, because I'm always, that's another problem that I still struggle with, and I'm sure you do too. You're working on something, but you're also thinking about the next thing too.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have your mindset. That's why you have to take that break. You know what I mean? Take that break, breathe a little bit, and like what you were saying, have your schedule out and prioritize your schedule. I can knock this out in 10 minutes. Let me knock it out in 10 minutes. Those bigger projects are probably have a bigger time constraint anyways. So,
Yeah.
And one more thing that I would like to say is towards your if you're a customer-based business, give your customers more flexibility and don't put so much pressure on yourself. Let's say you're doing a service for them. Don't say, "Hey, I can do that in 24 hours." Tell them 48 hours. You know what I mean? Tell them up front, even though it won't take you. And if they get it early,
right.
they'll be happy. You know what I
Yes.
mean? But if they get it on time, you're less tense.
Right.
You gave yourself time to really, and you come out with a better product on top of that. You know what I mean?
Always.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it totally depends on what someone's interests are. So say you're not a reader. So that's totally cool. Maybe it's that you like to travel or you like to go hike or spend time with your kids. All of these things I think are just so important to prioritize. And it's really hard as a small business owner to prioritize something other than your business. So if you can, if you're listening, take that, do with it what you will. But I can tell you burnout is so very real, and I feel for anybody who goes through it. It's awful, but it's preventable.
It's 100% preventable. The reason why we're talking about it is because we've gone through it.
Yeah.
And I've learned myself, and so have you. We have our own little vices that we can go to and say, okay, I'm going to get, like, whether it's just taking a shower, washing your face,
Yeah.
get up, walk around the house a couple times. It just get your mind off the damn thing.
Right.
And then come back to it with a fresh set of eyes, and then you can think more clearly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, basically.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody has other questions or thoughts, anything like that, drop it in the comments, on any of our posts about this show. We'd be happy to send you any links to anything, answer any questions that we possibly can. We're here for you. That's why we're doing this. So yeah, for anybody who's going through burnout, I hope that we helped. I hope that this will give you some guidance, or at least know that you have an outlet that you can go to.
Yes. Do not forget about that. Taking a break, take a break, take a break. Also,
Yes.
one last thing to close out. There's when you're in a small business, and I said YouTube University, sometimes that's enjoying because you're still learning, but you're relaxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just watching videos, seeing how,
Yeah.
just get ideas, not saying steal people's ideas, tweak them a little bit, but you do have to take the mental and physical break, because if you don't, you're going to get burnt out. You're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to be able to think straightly.
Yeah.
And then you're going to end up hating yourself, and your business is going to go.
Yeah. And no one
Basically.
wants that. No one wants any of those things. You want to be successful. You want to be healthy. You want to be making the best choices for you and for your business or businesses, wherever you might be. So with that, I think
that's it.
that's it.
All right, guys. We will see you next week. And thank you for tuning into the Small Business Podcast with Steve Seymour.
And Kavarikis.
We will see you next week.
Bye.